What's up, guys and girls? This is Titan Lifestyle. Yeah, that's right, it's Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do this every week. I talk about therapy of the week. I talk about events, Titan events that we have coming up. We got one this weekend, question and answers, and I also pick out a topic for you guys or girls to talk about today. So first off, I always want to give shout outs to see who's on right now. Shout out to DJ H, shout out to Luis Prada, shout out to H Boyono. A lot of people jumping on right now. Again, get your questions ready. Shout out to the real, what's that? The real Hokie Pride. Hokie. What's that? Texas A&M? No, that's the Aggies. What's the Hokies? I'm lost right now. But yeah, everybody's jumping on right now. Shout out to Mocino or Monico. Sorry with the names. Trying to enunciate these names. Staring at a little screen right now, so it's kind of hard for me right now. But this is Titan Lifestyle. Get your questions ready. I'm going to jump into therapy of the week real quick while you guys and girls are getting your questions ready. And then I'll jump into the questions, which is my favorite part of the show. But therapy of the week. Every week we have therapy of the week here at Titan Medical. It's usually a therapy that we highlight to let you guys and girls know about it. Great job, Exoro. So he just did his blood work today. Good stuff. But yes, the therapy of the week this week is CJC 1295 with Ipamorelin. Now, what is CJC 1295? It is an injectable therapy that we have here at Titan Medical. It's good for weight loss. It's good for decreasing body fat while simultaneously increasing energy and muscle mass. So anytime you can lose body fat, have energy, increase muscle mass, that's when you really see your body changing. That's when people start saying what's going on with your body, and you start looking crazy. It helps improve bone density, immune function, speeds up recovery times, skin rejuvenation, elasticity, everything. It helps with tissue building as well. So if you're trying to put new muscle on, it's not just always about having a pump and being full. You actually need to put muscle on. This will actually help put muscle on, and again, it's going to help you recover as you grow, as you lose fat. So it's kind of like an all-in-one. Similar to testosterone, the only difference with this is you're going to get a little bit better recovery or, let me see, probably connective tissue and ligaments recovery. So if you're coming off an injury or something like that, this would be a little bit better, in my opinion, like testosterone. But again, you could take both at the same time, kill two birds with one stone. But yeah, this is great for increasing energy, losing body fat, recovery, everything. So if you guys are in the gym and you're like, I don't really need anything, I feel great, I don't really need anything, any help, you could always add a little bit of help. I work out pretty much in pain all the time, just from all the injuries over the years. So me, it's a matter of managing the pain as opposed to just numbing it up. I notice when I take CJC or TB500, which I'm taking now, the pain like slowly fades away, and it basically stays away too. I had real bad pain in my elbow a couple years ago, and I started with the BPC and the TB500. And then now I'm doing all three with the CJC, and that elbow is literally fixed. I don't have pain in the elbow anymore. So apparently whatever it did worked. It didn't just numb the problem because, again, I haven't had pain in my right elbow for about a year now. So if anybody has pain, anybody's dealing with a lagging injury, if you guys are popping Advil every single day trying to numb the pain or taking, other things that you can inject to kind of numb the pain, it's not really making the pain go away. You want to fix the problem rather than just numb it. So what we do here at Titan Medical, whether it's CJC, TB500, BPC 157, a lot of these therapies we have at Titan Medical aren't just to help manage the pain or make the pain go away. They're actually fixing the problem, fixing the connective tissue and ligaments and tendons that are, deteriorating or grinding against bone. They're actually fixing the problem. Now, if your tendon is completely gone, it's bone on bone, it's not going to fix that problem because there's no tendon or nothing to repair. But if there's ligaments and tendons there to repair, tissue to repair, this is definitely going to help. If you guys have injuries, if you want to get over an injury, it's going to help with that too. It helps with mental performance as well. So, I mean, it's like literally an all-in-one. Inflammation, I mean, the list goes on and on what this therapy does. And again, we're running a special on it right now. It's $25 off of the original price, and that sale is going up until 10/18, which is tomorrow. So you want to jump on that sale either today or tomorrow. You could text the office or call the office, 727-389-3220. They'll get you set up with the deal. Just let them know that I sent you, or let them know that you heard about the discount therapy of the week. and you'll get 25% off. Now, I'm not sure if there's a limit to how many you can get with this order. I know sometimes we have specials where it's one per limit. A lot of the stuff we have here at Titan Medical too, it's regulated, so you can't just get like in other words, if you're on HRT, you can't order 5 bottles of testosterone because legally we can only give you what you're required, which is like whether it's 5 mLs a month or whatever you're prescribed. It's patient dependent. But again, with this, I'm not sure. So if you want to get more than one, let the office know, can I get more than one? You could take advantage of the deal. I mean, if you get 4 of them, you're saving $100 if it's something you could do. And again, I don't know if you can get more than one because I'm not sure how this is regulated. But if it were me and there was a sale, I would definitely jump on. I'd probably get at least 4 bottles of it. That way I'm saving $100, and that way I have them just in case I need them, or I could just keep running them. So we service all 50 states, by the way, too. So if you're not in Tampa, not in Florida, we can definitely get it out to you. We do all 50 states except for Idaho. So if you're in Idaho and you need some therapies that we have here, if you have another address in another state or friend, family member, whatever, we can fill out the proper paperwork and get shipped to them, and then they can ship to you, which is completely legal too. So if you're in the U.S., doesn't matter what state you're in, we will find a way to get our product to you. And again, you can call or text the line at any time. So it doesn't matter if it's 3 in the morning, whatever. If you want to text that line, you can text the line. And again, too, it's not robots. You're not texting a robot. You're not calling an automated system. When you call the number, you're actually going to speak to somebody that's actually knowing what they're talking about, not just someone that's relaying the message to someone else. Or if you text the number, someone's actually going to text you back. It's not automated. So you'll actually get a person on the phone. So jump on this, CJC 1295. Again, $25 off the original price. And again, that runs up until tomorrow. So you might want to jump on it now. I got about 24 hours, a little bit more than 24 hours to jump on that. The Real Hokie Pride, where you tuned in from? I'm kind of hokey. My mind's going blank right now. Is that like Virginia Tech or Aggies? I'm not sure what the Hokies is, but Jimmy Dean, what's going on? Shout out to Jimmy Dean, just tuned in right now. If you guys don't know Jimmy Dean, I posted him a couple times. He was like 320 or 330. Now he's down to like, I believe in the 250s or 260s. So he's lost a ton of weight, and he's a chef too, so no excuses. All those people out there say, yeah, I'm a chef, I can't get in shape. Yeah, you can. You just have enough willpower. If you're a chef, that's no excuse. That means you know how to cook, so that means you know how to prepare your meals. So it is what it is. Okay, NJNJVNJV. Does injection site and time of day matter? It depends what you're taking. The injection site definitely matters if you're taking TRT or HRT. If you're doing an oil-based injectable, something like testosterone, you don't want to inject into a small body part. And in my opinion, I don't think it's ever right to do subcutaneous testosterone injections, especially if you're lean. So in other words, if you're taking an injectable therapy from Titan that's water-based, say if it's Hercules Potion, that's something that's going to give you a pump. So you might want to put it in your biceps before you work out, or put it in your triceps before you do your triceps, or calves or chest or whatever. That's made specifically to go in the muscle that you work out. Now, if it's TB 500 or CJC 1295 or BPC healing stuff, you want to inject it closest to the area where the pain is. So if you have pain in your elbow, you want to just pinch a small piece of skin and just get it underneath the skin, not into the tendon, not into the muscle, and obviously not into the bone, but a small piece subcutaneous injection closest to where the pain is. So it does make a little bit of a difference where you put the stuff. Again, I wouldn't do testosterone shots in your biceps, triceps. Keep it to glutes or delts. But again, anything that's oil-based, you're going to want a little bit more meat, a little bit more muscle in there, and you're actually going to want to inject a little bit deeper. If you inject an oil-based testosterone with a 1/2-inch insulin needle and you don't put it in the right spot, what's going to happen is it's not going to go into the muscle. It's going to be sitting underneath your skin. It's going to be almost like a pimple, just oil underneath the skin. It needs to be deep enough to go in there. So one thing I always recommend is always depends if you always want to make sure you're getting it into the muscle. I see a lot of times people don't put the needle all the way in, or they put it halfway in, or I don't want to go too deep. The deeper the better. Obviously, you don't want to go 2 inches, but you want to go deep enough so it's into the muscle. And not only that, too, it's not just about the way it looks or the way it feels. You want to make sure that you're getting the compound, you're getting the ingredient. If it's made IM, which is intramuscular, it should be getting into the muscle. If not, it's just floating around on the top of your skin, and who knows where it's going and who knows where it's absorbing. So another thing too is you want to make sure you're taking it the right way to make sure you're not losing anything, to make sure you're getting everything out of it. So if you're only doing 1 injection a week or 2 injections a week, you want to make sure that you're doing it the right way, because if you mess up on that 1 injection, that's a wasted dose, and now you have a whole week before you do it again. So it is what it is. Always want to make sure, and then again too, you could always Google search injection sites. You could always call the office too, 727-389-3220, and just ask one of the ladies that answers the phone, hey, I need to take this injection of this compound. How do I do it? Where should I put it? They could either walk you through, or they could send you or get you on the phone with someone who can guide you through it. And again, last resort is if you're in the area, if you're in Tampa, Florida, and you're near the office, we have an office here downtown. If you're already a patient and you're already in the system and you've already been prescribed testosterone or therapies, and you need one of our medical providers to actually give you the injections, you could schedule that too. You could just call over here, let us know you'll be in town, and then you want to take your injections, and you could do it that way too. So again, injections is always the safest way to go. A lot of times people are like, oh, I don't want to inject myself. It's safer, it's more effective. And again, you get every last microgram or milligram without having to worry about, peeing it out or sweating it out or all that stuff. So, oh crap, it's Kurt. I like the name. I like the handle. His name is Oh crap, it's her. Oh crap, it's her. It says getting TRT in next week or two. Kind of nervous. You got this. You got this, bro. You can do this. It's very, very easy. I was the same way when I got my first injection. I was like, no, I'm kind of paranoid. Now I could be. I mean, I even realize I'm doing it. But yeah, just make sure you do it the right way, because a lot of times when people start out doing their injections, whatever way they start doing it, it's kind of how they do it throughout the years. It's kind of like, if you learn how to fold clothes one way, that's how you always fold clothes. So just make sure you're doing your injection the right way. Whether you have someone with you, whether you're watching a video, whether you have the medical provider on the phone or whatever, make sure you're doing it the right way. And one thing I will say with injections is always use a new needle. It doesn't matter if the needle's clean, it needs to be sharp. So a lot of times people run out of needles, and what they do is they'll take a needle and they'll just, get some strong alcohol and just dump it in the alcohol, which, yes, it cleans the needle, it sanitizes the needle, but every time that needle pushes through the top, through the rubber topper, it becomes a little bit dull. And every time it goes into your skin, it becomes a little bit dull. So to avoid scar tissue, because if the needle's too dull and you're going in and out of your skin, that's a hole it's creating every single time. So it's going to be scar tissue. So not only do you want to use a new needle just to be clean, you want to use a new needle to make sure you don't have scar tissue or have a smoother injection. Well, I hear people all the time, yeah, it's just as clean if I clean with alcohol. Yeah, but it's not. It's dull. It's dull. And you don't want to be talking when the needle is exposed. If you guys, girls, do an injection, once your needle's exposed, don't have your needle exposed and be talking, yeah, well, I'm about to do, because your breath, the germ from your breath will get on that exposed needle. So once you take the cap off and you draw it out, get the bubbles out, once you take the cap off, don't talk, don't breathe on it, turn the ceiling fan off. There's particles of dust. All this stuff sounds kind of crazy. Like, I don't need to do all that until you get one infection and it ruins you. And then now you're going to be like over paranoid. So I know people, when I take mine, people are like, man, it's not that serious. I have to turn the ceiling fan off. I have to make sure there's no vents. I have to make sure there's no dust. But then again, that's the safest way to do it. Better be safe than sorry. How do you feel about subcutaneous? I'm not a fan of subcutaneous at all for pretty much anything. I know some people do it, but again, if you're very lean, like I'm lean year round, so I have abs. I don't really have any fat on my stomach. So for me to do a sub-Q injection on my stomach, whenever I do it, it just sits there. It looks like a pimple. It just sits on top. It doesn't go in anywhere because there's no fat for it to go into. There's no water. There's nothing. It's just skin and muscle. It just sits underneath there. And I have to rub it in, and it kind of like massages it in. It's pointless. So I'm not a fan of sub-Q. Now, if you have a high body fat, if you have a little bit more body fat, if you have some love handles or something like that you can go into, that's a little bit better. But I've never been a fan of sub-Q. Pretty much everything I do or have tried sub-Q, I'd rather just do IM. Whether it's IGF, I mean, obviously TRT, HRT is IM, but I'm not a fan of sub-Q at all. Let's see what the questions we got. questions. Can scroll up a little bit. I'm trying to see if I see any questions on here. Okay. Now, let me jump into one of these topics real quick. One of my topics today is basically my 3 favorite Titan therapies. Now, I've told you guys my therapies I like before, but today the difference today is yeah, the bear says all research supports sub-Q. That's great that all research supports it, but I've researched stuff millions of times, and I know it works best for my body and my clients and our patients I've heard. So, I mean, research may support sub-Q, but I know when you get your blood work done, if your testosterone is the same, if it's changing, in other words, if your main purpose is to raise your testosterone levels and you're doing sub-Q, why not just put it in your glute or your delt if it's going to bring your levels up to a normal level anyways? Like, what's the difference in doing sub-Q? The only difference is it may be easier to reach that area, but then now you might have to microdose, and then again, now you have oil sitting underneath your skin, which just doesn't work for me. So it's good to have research. It's good to read everything. I've been reading and doing research for 20 years now when it comes to fitness. And I realize over time that it's good to have a little bit of knowledge and research, but trial and error and what works best for you. Research tells me that chicken, broccoli, rice is the best thing for me, but when I have that, I'm bloated and my stomach's miserable. So it's good to have a little bit of research, but it's also good to trial and error on your body is pretty much the only way you're going to figure out what works best for you. Now, in terms of my favorite therapies, if I'm bulking, now TRT goes with all these therapies, so I'm not going to add TRT to any of these. It's just automatically assume I'm taking TRT with it. Now, if I'm bulking, I'll go MK677. I'll go. See, the thing is, when you're bulking, when you're taking TRT and MK, there's really nothing else that you need in terms of putting that tissue on. But I love MK if I'm bulking because it stimulates my hunger like crazy. As soon as I take MK, I'm ready to eat everything. It keeps me hungry all day. So a lot of times people can't stomach or they can't eat enough food to put the bulk on. So what they do is they start eating fast food and junk food just because they don't have the energy or the time to eat a whole bunch of clean food. Now, if you take MK677, you're going to be hungry all day, whether it's junk food, whether it's regular food, doesn't matter what it is. So MK677 along with some TRT, obviously. Now, in terms of stuff you could add to that, there's not too much you really need to add to that if you want to put on a crazy bulk. Now, I would say some TB500 with some CJC 1295. The only reason I would say to add those is because if you're putting weight on and you're getting stronger faster, real fast, you want your ligaments and your connective tissue to be strong too. So if you take the TB500 with the BPC 157, your ligaments are going to be getting stronger as you're increasing your food, as your muscles getting stronger. So then you don't have to worry about tearing or ripping anything or having any injuries, because a lot of times what happens is people get too strong, their muscles get too strong, and their ligaments don't get strong. They can't catch it. That's how they injure stuff. And that's how I tore my bicep. I was getting too strong too fast, and even though my body could lift the weight, my ligaments couldn't handle the weight. So yeah, you definitely want to do that. So I would say for bulking, I would say MK677 along with TRT and some healing peptides to make sure your ligaments are good for those heavy lifts. And on top of that, you could take some Hercules potion before you lift, just to give you more stamina and more blood in the muscle, more pump. And obviously, if you have more pump and you're pushing more weight, that's going to make you grow as well. So MK677, Hercules potion, and TRT to gain weight, obviously combined with a healthy diet or a good high-calorie, high-carb diet if you're trying to bulk, and TRT. Now for cutting, we got a lot of different options for cutting. Now this is in my opinion, what I would use. Now terzapeptide, semaglutide, those are probably our strongest weight loss products, but those are strictly weight loss, and I don't have that much fat on me, so I don't want to lose muscle. If you're very, very, very low body fat and you take some semaglutide, terzapeptide, I've heard that it can make you lose a little bit of muscle. I've heard it can't. I don't want to take that chance. So with that being the case, if I'm cutting, I'm going to take ECA plus. That's ephedra, caffeine, aspirin, choline, and B12. It's a capsule. I'll take that before I work out. It's going to give me energy. It's going to give me mental focus. The ephedrine in it is HCl, so pharmaceutical ephedrine, which helps burn the fat. So you have a fat burner, you have energy, you have B12 and choline, and then you take that with the Hercules potion before you work out. So now you have your energy, you have your pump, you have your fat burning, you have all that stuff. Now, if you want to take it a little bit farther, you go with AOD 9604. Again, that's a fat burner, a clinically proven fat burner, so it's not just going to give you energy and suppress your appetite. That's an injectable therapy that can also be a capsule, and you could take that with your ECA as well. So you do ECA plus AOD 9604 combined with TRT, and yeah, you are definitely going to lose some weight. Now, if your main concern is only losing weight, you're not really concerned about having muscle or gaining muscle, if that's the case, I would definitely go with either terzepeptide or semaglutide. Semaglutide is an injectable therapy. It's $550 for a 10-week supply or a 10-week cycle. So it's basically $55 a week, which is less than $10 a day, and it's guaranteed weight loss. So you pretty much, now I know with semaglutide and terzepeptide, you don't really even have to work out. Now I know I shouldn't be saying that, but I keep it real no matter what. You don't really have to work out if you take semaglutide. You're still going to lose weight. Now, if you want your look to look right, then I would suggest working out because, a lot of these memes and stuff going around is, people take semaglutide and their bodies look all weird. That's because they're just taking it and they're not working out. If you take semaglutide, you work out, have a little bit of muscle tissue, a little bit of shape, then you're good to go. But if your only concern is losing weight, if you're 100, 200 pounds overweight, if the doctor says you need to lose weight, it's bad for your health, you're taking years off your life. If it's a situation like that, then semaglutide with maybe some AOD 9604, then TRT if you need it. So again, if muscle isn't your concern, terzepeptide or semaglutide. If muscle is your concern in cutting, you would do ECA plus AOD 9604. Combine that with Hercules potion. A next step up on the cutting process, you could do IGF-1 and testosterone. So in terms of strictly fat burning, IGF-1, testosterone, AOD 9604, you could run those all together. A lot of our fat burners you can't take together, and some stuff like MK677 and IGF-1, you can't take those together because it'll cause an unsafe rise in your IGF. I actually took those simultaneously a couple of years ago. I didn't know, and my ankle swelled up and I was holding a lot of water, and it was too much of an overload. So those are my three therapies for cutting and bulking. Again, I haven't taken terzepeptide or semaglutide yet. I just threw that in there in case you guys want to try it. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about that, you can ask me questions now. You can ask me questions in my DM. I want to know any bodybuilders out there that have tried semaglutide, male or female. How you like it? Are you retaining muscle? Are you losing muscle? Are you using shape and all that stuff? Is intermittent fasting BS? It depends what you're trying to do. If you have digestive issues, if you have a sickness, if you're trying to fight off something, because when your body starves itself, it kind of repairs itself. When you don't eat, your body kind of repairs itself. So if you have, I'm not a fan of fasting at all, unless it's for a specific reason. Unless you're trying to, in other words, if you have digestive issues, if you're bloated, if you haven't used the bathroom in a day or even two, and you're having digestive issues, now fasting will help with that because it basically just resets your stomach, so to speak. I can get into more detail, but it's really technical. Kind of resets your stomach. So I know for me, if I have digestive issues, I just literally won't eat all day till about 7, 8 at night. And just from that, it helps a little bit. Now, is it hurting my body? I believe it is. Certain people can get away with intermittent fasting. Certain people can't. Again, I have a really fast metabolism. So if I don't eat or I don't train, I'm going to lose weight too fast. So I'm kind of the opposite, but I do feel it works good for some people. If you have a slow metabolism, if you're overweight, if you're not concerned with putting on muscle, it'd be great for that. And it's also good for photo shoots as well. So I know Mike, shout out to Mike O'Hearn. I know Mike does a little bit of a fast sometimes, and his abs look crazy. So he was actually the one that got me to do it. Last year, we had a conversation. He fasted for a little bit, and I saw how he looked. I'm like, you still looking full? You looking crazy? He's like, yeah. Ever since then, it kind of let me know that, food is great, but if one day is not going to hurt you, if you need to skip a couple meals, get your stomach to flatten out for some photo shoots or to feel good, it's better too. So Yeah, so for me, I personally don't do intermittent fasting, but I see it work with some people. But again, you just don't want to do it too much, and you want to make sure, depending on what your goals are. If you're trying to gain weight, I wouldn't recommend it at all, because it's just going to be hard to get your meals in. But in terms of digestion, in terms of fighting off illnesses, in terms of resetting your body, yes, it does work. Just a lot of bodybuilders, we don't want to do it because we're afraid we're not going to get our protein, we're going to lose weight and all this stuff. But has its benefits, just not for me. Any other questions on here? Does injection site or time of day matter? I already touched on the injection site. The injection site matters depending on what you're putting in there. You don't want to put, oil base in a place, a small muscle group. Now, time of day, time of day is only going to matter. Now, for TRT, time of day isn't necessarily going to matter. I know people a lot make recommendations to take your injections in the morning. I haven't noticed a difference personally, but I know it's just a lot easier in the morning for people to remember. It's kind of like every day, wake up, brush your teeth, take your jog, get breakfast, get ready for work. It's a lot easier if you just do it every morning, because if you get a curveball during the middle of the day, you might forget. And then during the day, you might take it one day at 5 p.m., the next day at 9 p.m., the next day at 7. Usually in the morning time, people are routine. So I always have taken mine in the morning. Now, if it's not TRT, if it's Hercules Potion, that does make a difference, because Hercules Potion, you're going to want to take it before you work out. So wouldn't want to take an injection of Hercules Potion first thing in the morning and then go to work like that evening off work or something like that. So Hercules Potion, you're going to want to do it within 10, 20, 30 minutes before you work out. So if you live 10 minutes away, you can take it before you leave. I know some people like to take it with them and do it in the car at the gym before they train, just to make sure it's in there. But yeah, again, if you guys, girls, have any questions about injections, you can always call the office, 727-389-220, and just ask them what's the best time of day, or injection sites, or all that stuff too. Um, some of these questions on, you gotta keep the questions somewhat related to health or fitness. A lot of these questions will send me off into a loophole. I'll start talking about all kinds of stuff. But yeah, we got some Titan events coming up. I know that's right. Tomorrow, actually, it's starting today. The Hurricane Base starts today. Um, today is the check-ins at 3 p.m. And I believe the night show for Masters IFBB, I believe it starts at 6 or 7 tonight. Hurricane Pro, Tim Gardner's show. It's a 2-day show this year. Also going on tomorrow. I'm not sure when prejudging starts. I believe 8 or 9. Tomorrow is the NPC and the IFBB. So it's the NPC, which is amateur, and IFBB, which is professional bodybuilding show. Right here in St. Pete. Well, not St. Pete. It's about an hour from here, 30 minutes from here. And St. Pete's at the Coliseum. Against Tim Gardner is the promoter of the show, and Titan Medical, we are the official sponsor of the show. So very excited about that. We do that show every year. It's an Olympia qualifier, so usually it's like before the Olympia. So with the Olympia being 2 weeks away, I'm interested to see how it's going to be with the competitors coming in. I know here in Florida, a lot of people couldn't make it to the Olympia, myself included, because the airports were shut down because of the storm. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe some of these athletes that were planning on doing the Olympia from this area that are already prepped, maybe they'll jump into the Hurricane just because they're already prepped for it. I don't know. But again, Hurricane Pro is tonight and tomorrow at the Coliseum. Titan Medical presents the Hurricane Pro. And shout out to Tim Gardner for doing another great job, another great show. He was at Tampa Pro. He's all over the place. So, quick question we got. C said, nothing better than hitting the gym at the same to clean at 5 a.m. to clean on an empty to a clean and empty gym. Yeah, I love hitting the gym first thing in the morning when there's nobody in there. Like, I love it. I like an empty gym. I like a hot gym. I like a dark gym. I don't like bright, cold gyms with a bunch of people. That makes me not want to work out. The hotter the better for me. I want to be drenched in sweat. And I like old gritty machines. I tap in better like that. But yeah, I used to train at 5 a.m. Now I go probably a little bit later, like 10 or 11 a.m., depending on how my morning goes. But yeah, I love an empty gym. Nobody in your way, nobody looking at you, nobody asking questions. It's Perfect. Another thing too is when you start your day with the gym, like I said earlier, if you have a long, stressful, tiresome day, whether you're dealing with kids or work or whatever, the last thing you want to do now, once your day is over, is to remotivate yourself and go to the gym. When you go to the gym first thing in the morning, you're well rested. You're breaking from your fast. That's why they call it breakfast. So you're well rested. You've been off your feet all night, so you're physically rested. You've been sleeping all night, so you're pretty much mentally rested. And then now you can wake up and go to the gym. So pretty much every day you're in that same physical and mental state when you go to the gym. So you know what you're going to deal with first thing in the morning. You don't know what you're going to deal with at 6 p.m. If you get off work at 4 and then you fight traffic, there was an accident, now you got to stop at the store, now you got to, may have a kid you got to pick up and drop off, and you got to go home, and now you got to mix up some caffeine or some ECAA, and then all this stuff after working all day, and then you're looking at the clock, and then now you got to take caffeine at 6 p.m., which is going to keep you up all night. It's a mess. Now, I understand people have certain things that they need to do, and they have to hit the gym when they can. But if you could pick or choose, always go in the morning. Because after a while, you're going to get used to going in the morning. Your body's going to be used to it. So you're just going to wake up and you're going to wake up and go. Chaz420 he said, he says he thinks he could take me in a fight. Let's set it up, man. Let's do Jake Paul type stuff. Let's do it. No, I'm just messing around. Let me see. A lot of school questions. Chaz said, hell no. All good, all love, Chaz. It's good when I get little jokes like that. Keeps the show fun. Let me see. Got somebody on my live on my phone says a full day of food in my stomach trying to work out is not fun. Now, why do you have a full day of food in your stomach? You probably want to switch up what you're eating because the food should not be sitting in your stomach all day long. Like in other words, if you're eating 3 or 4 times during the day and then going to the gym, you should probably use the bathroom a few times before you do that. So that's more of a digestion thing. Yeah, I'm not sure why you'd have a full stomach. I know a lot of times people say, oh, I like to get at least 1, 2, or 3 meals before I go to the gym. But you never want your stomach to be full. You want to be nourished. You want to have the right macros in your body for the workout. You want to be hydrated, but you don't want to have a full stomach because then you're going to be bloated, especially if you're doing back or deadlifts or legs. You're going to feel like you have to use the bathroom. So I like to eat and then work out 90 minutes after. I used to do 60 minutes, but I eat a lot. If you guys have seen my meals, I eat a lot. So my first meal is like a huge bowl of cream of rice with either a dozen eggs or like 2.5 cups of egg whites. So, and then I have fruit. So it's a lot. So after I'm done with all that, the last thing I want to do is now go work out. As soon as I'm done swallowing my last bite, I look at the clock. If it says 9:30, okay, I'm going to train at 11. I always do that. I used to do 60 minutes, but now I find that 90 minutes works better for me. I'd rather have less bloat in my stomach. Yeah, Bavarian Boy Toy says take digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes are very good to take. I used to take enzymes. Now I just take like a green powder type drink. Metamucil is always good too. I use sugar-free. I just get the generic sugar-free Metamucil, and I throw that in with my fruit smoothie in the morning time. So get like a green powder smoothie with some Metamucil on the side. Mix like some frozen fruit. And I drink that with my meal, as my fluid for my meal. Adds more calories, adds more carbs before I train. Not too many people on right now. Again, we have the Hurricane Pro this week. I believe we have Cars and Couture. Brian, if you could pull up the schedule real quick. Cars and Couture, I believe, is 11/16. Let me make sure. Get this date right. Cars and Couture, yes. November 16th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's Cars and Couture. It's a car show, crazy car show. You're going to see Lamborghinis, McLarens, Bugattis, Hellcats, Phantoms. I mean, old school, new school, muscle cars. Some bikes are out there. It's going to be a crazy time. It's going to be a great time. Again, that's 11/16 Cars and Couture. And then we also have the Hurricane Pro this week. That's it for events as of right now. I'll let you guys and girls know when I add more events. You You could also sign up for the Titan newsletter so you'll be notified of all these videos. You'll be notified of Therapy of the Week. You can be notified as events as well. C says, do you ever take creatine breaks? Actually, not really. The only time I take creatine break is if I run out and I have to order it and I'm waiting for it to come in again. But I may lower my doses and maybe like 5 grams for a little bit. But yeah, I don't really take creatine breaks. I do 2 scoops, which is 10 grams of creatine. I do 2 scoops, which is 10 grams of glutamine with my fruit smoothie every morning. And sometimes if I have another smoothie during the day, I'll maybe do another 5 grams. So I do about 10 to 15, sometimes 20 grams a day. But I don't really feel a need to take breaks. As long as you're hydrating enough and getting enough fluid and all that. And I don't believe that creatine makes you hold water and all that. I mean, I barely hold any water. I'm veined up. I got abs. I don't really have that much body fat, and I've been taking creatine every day for years. And I notice a difference when I stop it too. So I definitely notice a difference. Taking creatine with Hercules potion, by the way, is nuts. Because creatine will give you like a full feeling. I know people that have taken it and they take it for a while and stop, they kind of lose that fullness. But you take creatine with the Hercules potion, it's like next level. I mean, it's almost like Hercules potion is almost like injectable creatine, like the way it feels in your body. Like more of a pump, but just the stamina, the endurance is nuts. So I was talking to John about a month or 2 back. I was like, man, if we ever get an injectable creatine, let me know. If we could get some injectable creatine or injectable glutamine, that would be what's up. But yeah. Bavarian B-Boy said, and drink fluid after you eat, not during a meal. Again, I've tried that as well too. My coach had me doing that. He had me not drinking any food while I eat. It helps with digestion. Not with me, it doesn't. So again, all the trials and studies and stuff says not to drink food with your meal, but when I did it, it would dry me up and food would just like lock up in me and it wouldn't work. So I tried it the other way and it actually made it worse. So I'm the opposite. I need to drink a slow sip while I'm eating my food to keep moisture in the food, to keep it going down better. That's pretty much it for this week. Get your questions ready. I'll be back next week. Shout out to Mark. I see Mark just jumped on here. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. I'll be back next week at 2 p.m. I'll let you guys and girls know if we add any topics. I'll let you guys if we add any events. Make sure you hit the bell so you're notified of our YouTube videos. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And again, our Instagram is currently down right now. But if you watch this show on Facebook, and when we get to Instagram up and running, you might want to check the page because it might be up on there as well. Let me check one more question on my phone. So Warren 1.0 said, I got the Hercules potion when Titan had the 2-for-1 deal. It absolutely was a game changer for me. I agree, worth it. Yes, definitely worth it. That's good news. Yeah, we had a 2-for-1 deal, Hercules potion. This guy said he got 2 of them. He said it's definitely a game changer, yeah. How are you using your Hercules? Like, do you use it every day? Do you use it only specific body parts? Because I have a friend of mine, he's like, I only use it in my arms. So, I mean, certain people, they use it every day. Certain people, it is systematic, too, with Hercules potion. So if you inject, even if you inject it in your glute, it's going to hit your body all over. I mean, obviously, it targets that specific muscle a little bit faster, but it's going to hit your body all over. Yeah, he says he takes it before his workout, specific body parts. Same here. The only places I don't use Hercules is maybe, I've tried everywhere, traps, chest, everywhere. The places I don't like, I actually don't like it in my chest because it's like too much of a pump. I don't know if that makes sense, but when I lift heavy, I have so much of a pump. It's like, it's almost too much, which is a good thing. But then again, I still do chest. It's just if I had to pick and choose, but yeah. It is what it is. This is Titan Lifestyle. Again, I'll be back next week. Have a safe week. Tune in at